All right, everybody. We are just starting out our live today, just barely starting to talk about autism. If you're an autism parent, if you have autism, good morning, Lexi. If you have questions about autism, you are in the right place. So come on in. It usually takes a few minutes to get everyone in here, but we get going, and I can't always get to all the questions. And so if you're coming in and you have questions now, be putting it in the chat now, and I'll get to the ones that I can right now. All right, everybody. Just give me a moment. I need to make sure that I have everything set up on my end real quick. Give me just a moment here. Just a moment. We're going to be talking about autism, everybody. Come on in. We're talking about autism. If you're an autism parent, if you have autism, if you have an interest in learning about autism, you are in the right place. These first few minutes of the live are most important in getting it out to as many people. And so if you can tap on the screen, share the live, do whatever you need to do, and that can get us going. So, okay. I'm about 30 minutes earlier than normal, you guys. I'm ahead of schedule today. My wife is taking my kids to ABA this morning, and so I was able to stay back and start the live early. All right, I have a interesting research article here that I want to talk about to start out. I'll probably talk about it a little bit later as well, but I want to share a little bit. Okay, so in September, we know that President Trump and RFK Jr. Had a press conference where they talked about two things. There were two things that were discussed, leucovorin and Tylenol. Now, what was interesting is they didn't announce anything that had changed. There was no new research that they presented. Everything that they presented, it was already, leucovorin was already being prescribed. It was already being studied, though not widely used yet. And that was for a good reason, because it wasn't established yet. I mean, there's 5 clinical trials so far on leucovorin. And so they kind of jumped the gun there and brought up a lot of leucovorin. Then the other thing was Tylenol. I know, Lexi. I know. I'm so glad that she took the kids to ABA and made it so that I didn't even think of starting early. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll take them, and that way you could go and get started with your live." I'm like, "Yes." Okay, so with the press conference, they also announced Tylenol, and they urged caution. There was no new research or study that prompted the urge of caution around Tylenol, but we have some data that just came out. We have some studies that just came out about what happened after that press conference. So since that press conference has happened, we have seen that that Tylenol usage for pregnant women in emergency rooms plummeted by up to 16%. Women in the emergency room did not accept Tylenol. It plummeted by about 16%. Now, leucovorin diagnosing more than doubled what we expected to see, or around doubled what we expected to see. And so that press conference, it's kind of interesting. Here's yeah, Lexi, you're spot on. You're spot on, Lexi. There's a lot of fake information, misinformation out there about these things. I'm optimistic about the leucovorin, and that was before the press conference. There's some promising things with it, but it wasn't ready for widespread prescription yet. Yeah, I'm optimistic about it, but the press conference, it didn't mean that we were ready yet for widespread prescription of that medication. And the Tylenol was based on one study from Harvard that additional information has come out since then. And so, Lexi, your son was diagnosed at age 2. That's amazing. Yo, why did I think you were Brendan Fraser? That's funny. I've gotten that before. That's really funny. All right. Guys, I think this speaks to something pretty important, that typically the way that changes happen in the medical world is new research and findings prompt changes in protocols. And despite no new research or evidence, this press conference had a drastic impact on the decisions that people made. People were afraid to take Tylenol in the emergency room. Pregnant women stopped taking Tylenol in the emergency room. A lot of times they probably needed it, or it would have made them more comfortable. And they felt fear of having the Tylenol because they didn't want their child to have autism when that research is not clear. All right, you guys, I'll bring that up again a little bit later, but kind of an interesting thing. Hey, good morning, Aiden. All right, you guys, let's take a look here. Mario says, what's the best vitamins to give to an autistic 10-year-old girl, and what could I do to help her talk? Mario, you are asking the right questions. Us autism parents really, really want our children to thrive, right? We will do anything, and what that does is it makes us vulnerable. It makes us vulnerable to predatory marketing. Currently, there are no default recommended vitamins, supplements, or diets simply because your child has autism. Obviously, focusing on nutrition is important for every child. Okay, autism doesn't make that unique to focus on diet, nutrition, gut health, supplements. But there's some misunderstanding about autism, where a lot of these special diets come from and the detox protocols come from, is this misinformation that autism is caused by toxins. This started in like 30 years ago, where people had a theory that there were heavy metals that would enter into the body, and the gut was leaky, the leaky gut theory, and the gut-brain axis theory that says that those heavy metals would seep into the bloodstream, go to the brain, and damage the brain, causing autism. And that's not evidence-based. That's a theory that never panned out. And now we have all these detox protocols to get rid of the toxins in your body with false claims of improving autism. If someone is trying to sell you a supplement, they're just trying to make money off of you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your child. They're just trying to make a sale. And so I'll for sure today talk about, okay, that's things to avoid. I'll tell you about things here in a bit, about things that you can do. You guys, I don't get to every question on this live. I like to talk about the things that I see. But what I will do, I am fairly new to, I don't want to say it because they've hindered my lives before, but on the tube, the other channel, if you go to my bio, you can see a link to it. Any question asked over there, I promise I will read today out loud. No matter what it is, I'll read it. I'll read what you say, and I won't get to all the questions on TikTok. But if I don't have any questions on over there on the tube, I will come back over here and continue to read. So, sorry, I don't know what else to call it. What do people call it? But I've had a problem where when I start talking about it, they kind of prevent more people from joining my live. So. Nesha says, is autism genetic or luck of the draw? We know it's up to 90% genetic. So it is largely genetic. That is something that we know. And so there's a lot of clear evidence about that. Yeah, Lexi, they don't want you to talk about different apps. Yep. They protect their space for sure. Rachel, you'll read anything you say. You'll have to go put it in the other chat, in that other space that I'm not allowed to talk about on here. It took until mine was 7. Mine chose Minecraft. I'm not sure what Avalon you're addressing here. Let's see. I think I missed part of that question going on. Thanks, Lexi. Yeah, we're still starting out there. Let's see. Star says, is it true that NAC supplements help a lot or it's a scam? Okay, so there's no special supplement or treatment prescribed for people with autism simply because they have autism. If you ever hear someone marketing to you that your child has autism, thus they need these other things, these other tests to determine what supplements you need, that's not true. That's not true. The data on all of those therapies, the detox therapies and supplements, I have linked in my bio some references that show that when they do randomized clinical trials, okay, where they give some people detox protocols and other people placebos, guess what happens? There's no difference. There is no difference. Video isn't working? Oh, Lexi, thank you for telling me. Let me fix it. I can fix that. There we go. All fixed. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know. There we go. Is that working, Lexi? Let me know if you see it now. All right, you guys. All right. What do you think about ABA therapy? ABA therapy is one of the core therapies that we recommend that is evidence-based for supporting people with autism. It's not a cure. It doesn't reverse autism. It supports people with autism. Do screens really cause autism? Miro, no, absolutely not. Screens do not cause autism. Now, there are developmental issues with giving too much access to screens. That is well established in the literature. There's also research that says that screens can have a benefit in development depending on what's being watched and if the parent is watching with the child. And so it's not like screens are bad. It's also one of those things that doesn't have to do with autism. And it's one of those things that absolutely people, it's one of those things that people pass blame onto mothers of kids with autism. All right, you guys, we got comments over on the Tube, the other platform I'm not allowed to talk about on here. But again, for those just coming in, I do read everything that comes over there. And if you want to chime in on the conversation, let me know. Lexi has some thoughts over here. She says it's my own private show on here, apparently. I guess she's the only one over there so far. Yep, supports those with difficult behaviors. ABA does. Screens help my son talk. He repeats so much that what he hears on TV shows. Yeah, there are some benefits. There are definitely some benefits. Okay, let's read some other comments over here. Oh no, we got some people. People are tricking me over there. They're getting me to say things they know I don't want to say. I don't know what you're thinking over there. The moon landing is not real. Okay, that is something I disagree with. But again, doesn't have to do with autism. I think that's Lexi. Yeah, that's Lexi. Okay. You got me to say it. You can clip that and post it all over me spreading conspiracies. Lexi says my son uses an AAC device that helps him as well. Yeah, I love that. No, Amy's gonna clip it. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, you guys are too much. The Tube is in my bio. You guys can find it over there. What are your thoughts on stem cell treatment? Okay, stem cell therapy, you guys. Again, it's one of those things that has theory behind it, but does not have evidence. It does not have clear evidence of improving symptoms of autism or addressing autism. It's one of those things that is expensive. You're looking at $15,000, $20,000 to be able to go and get stem cell therapy. And you usually have to travel out of the country unless you're being part of a clinical trial here in the United States. And, it's just not worth it at this point. There's not solid evidence about it. All right, you guys. Yeah. Lexi says the moon ain't the topic right now. Lexi, it's kind of an inside joke. There's a couple people that last night we were talking about it that some people think that, and They were just trying to get me to admit to something that I don't. That's funny. Yeah, Lexi says I'm a mod and I mess with him. Lexi says, I see stem cell therapy for cerebral palsy recently. Yeah, I don't know any research on stem cell therapy, cerebral palsy, not an expert on that one. Thank you so much for giving me your honest opinion. Mario, of course. What's the correlation between autism and ADHD? A lot of times they co-occur. There's a lot of, they're both neurodivergence, and I definitely need to learn more about their correlation. That's something I definitely need to learn more about. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. Well, we have more comments coming in over on the tube that I'll address, but let me introduce myself a little bit. I do see also Bukola Kemi saying I'm a speech and occupational therapist. Love it. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing here, why I come onto these lives. So I'm a father of 4 children, 2 of which are diagnosed with autism. I like to come on here and advocate for not only children with autism, but parents of kids with autism. I'm curious, put in the chat, you guys, if you are a parent of a child with autism, put 1 in the chat. If you have autism, put 2 in the chat. If you are just interested in autism or you're a professional, put 3 in the chat. Let's see what kind of people we have here. A lot of parents, a lot of people just learning as well. Wonderful. And a lot of people that have it or think that they have it. I love that. Okay, I got to catch up on some comments over on the tube, you guys. Let me go ahead and read these. Again, I'm reading all of these today over there because I'm fairly new there. I wasn't hip to that. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Lexi. But you're going to fit right in here. I can tell. Hemi says, any tips for potty training? Mainly pooping with a level 3 5-year-old. You guys just know that with potty training, don't overthink it. Don't stress it. If your kid is 5 and not yet potty trained, you have not failed your child. It is okay. I have done hundreds of job interviews, and do you know how many times I've asked them what age they were potty trained? I never have. It doesn't come up. It's not important. It doesn't dictate their future, and it is a lot to do. But you absolutely can work on it. My recommendation is make sure you have a care team. I recommend having ABA therapist involved, potentially occupational therapist, the school, and all coordinate together to figure out a game plan, write it down, and everyone follows that plan. How often am I live? Daily. I go live every day. Usually it's about noon Eastern time to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. There we go. Lexi says, I'm currently writing a book to help families. Love it, Lexi. I'd love to hear more about what you're doing. That's amazing. Andrea over on the tube says, my 6-year-old girl just diagnosed level 2, been receiving speech and OT for since she was 2 years. Should I get ABA therapy? She struggles a lot at kindergarten, also anxiety. Okay. Yes, speech and OT since age 2, just barely got the diagnosis. Look, there are 4 main frontline therapies that I recommend parents consider for their child with autism. Again, I talk about the autism journey on my live. The first part is you need a village. All the therapies in the world don't matter if you yourself as the parent don't take care of yourself. You are going to burn out. This is a difficult lifelong journey. And you need a village, you need friends. Let us be that on this live. Please keep coming back, but you need a village. Second, you need to get clarity and get a diagnosis for your child. If you just suspect it's autism, go out there and get it. And third, which is where Andrea is you need to build a care team. And the 4 therapies that I recommend that you consider are ABA therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and if your child is fully conversational, mental health therapy can help a lot. We'll talk about the later steps at another time. Okay. Hemi says yes. Lexi, I'm scared to send my son to first grade in pull-ups and he get made fun of. I want to send my boy to music therapy, possibly. He loves music. Okay, Lexi, let me tell you my thoughts here. Pull-ups in first grade, don't make decisions about or don't put stress on yourself because of fear of your child being judged. It happens if people are in first grade and they're still in pull-ups. But if you want to address it, absolutely. Here, it's going to help your child for sure to be potty trained, and you can do it. When I plan on potty training my child, he's 3.5 yet. We haven't made the decision to jump on it yet, but probably in the next couple of months we're going to. And I'm going to take a week off of work, and my wife and I are going to be all hands on deck. We're going to be really pushing. We're going to have a written plan written down that we coordinate with the behavior analyst and care team. All right, you guys. Lexi says, you guys are my new besties. Lexi, I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh, and I just got an octopus? What in the world? I've never seen that. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Let's see. Lifty McLift says, wife is BCBA, opened her in-home practice. She's trying to learn how the referral process goes. Like, child goes from pediatric doctor to psychologist and then is diagnosed. How should she communicate to docs? Okay, so if you are trying to help people and trying to get clients referred to you, you're going to want to get to know, yes, pediatricians, but more importantly, the people doing the diagnosing. So build brochures, go take them to all the places that do the diagnosing, all the psychologists. Because, yeah, you're spot on. Pediatrician refers to psychologist gives the diagnosis, and then the family doesn't necessarily immediately go back to the pediatrician to find out what to do next. They're getting that info from the psychologist. Hemi Newton says, Lexi, the same. Luckily, he's only comfortable pooping at home. We got number 1 down thanks to ABA, but the number 2 is a problem. Oh, okay, you guys. My wife just commented over on the tube, says, I brought you a smoothie. Do you want it now or later? I want it now. Thank you. That makes my day. You guys, I'm getting a smoothie. You guys. Do the lives save to rewatch? Lexi, yes, they do. You can rewatch these over on the tube. It saves them and you can rewatch them. All right, you guys, we're caught up on the tube. Let me catch back up on TikTok. Lexi says, my wife is amazing. I agree. Woo. Thank you. Awesome, you guys. Let's keep on reading here. Okay. What is HI in comparison to ABA? What is HI? I'm not sure. Not sure. I need to read more into that, I guess. I don't know what HI is. The service here is great, says Lexi. Can I get a smoothie, please? That's funny. Habitual intervention and behavioral intervention. Oh, yeah. So my understanding is that's what Idaho moved to, right? Instead of ABA with Medicaid. Yeah. Look, they're trying to make it sound the same, but it's not. Here's the difference: is look at in ABA, the model of ABA therapy is that you have a board certified behavior analyst. They have a master's degree. They have thousands of hours of experience. They are experts in ABA. Now, the model is that you also have these, 18-year-olds who are, older, of course, but the technicians, right? The paraprofessionals that don't have to have education. They need about 40 hours of training. Then they can go into the homes and start serving the kids. And the model is that the BCBA observes about 10% of the sessions. Now, these what Idaho moved to, the behavioral intervention model, removes the need for the BCBA, which means you just get anyone can supervise, and anyone can. You can pick who that person is. The reimbursement's a lot less, so you can't demand the experts, and so it's less of a specialization. Angie, yeah. Ghost says, I need hospitalization for a kid with trisomy 18. Can you help me? Oh my gosh. Let me look. What? I know that, but I need to. Where do you live, Ghost? Where do you live? Edwards syndrome. Normally, humans have 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. In trisomy 18, a baby has 47 chromosomes because chromosome 18 appears 3 times. Wow. Yeah, I don't have much information, Ghost. I apologize. Ghost. I don't have that information. Hey, Lexi, thank you for being here. She also says, I see a lot of underpaid, overworked ABA employees who then do a poor job, unfortunately. Yeah. Yep, that's very true. And when they're looking at making service cuts already to the underpaid, overworked employees, I mean, it's crazy. Here's my frustration is we do not value autism work like we should. I mean, it really takes specialty to do a good job with therapies for kids with autism. And they're underfunded, underpaid, and it's not fair to those who work in the system. Lexi says, we had an ABA provider who ripped his pants in the crotch and wore them without underwear. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not good. Andrea says, psychologist said if I get ABA, it will be too much for her because she receives school and outside school therapy, but I feel is never too much. Okay, I get this a lot of like, I made a post that was like, hey, my kid gets 30 hours a week of ABA therapy. And I got a bunch of comments of like, oh, that's too much. Your kid's going to burn out. Like they can't do that much. Look, ABA therapy is not like work. It is not like stressing your kid out all day. It is playing. Your kid should play for 30 hours a week. Absolutely. It's incorporating learning into play. And so it's rare for me to see like a child truly burn out from ABA. Like my kid begs for it. They want to like every time it's time to go home, they cry. They want to keep playing. And so if they're doing it poorly, or if maybe your child just doesn't enjoy it, I could see it being too much, but, not by default, It's actually like my kid, he wants one-on-one attention all the time now. And if I got 4 kids, we got a lot going on, and, I can't always give him one-on-one attention. And so, knowing that up to 30 hours a week, he gets one-on-one play where they work on skills. Oh my gosh. He loves it. I love it. It's incredible. All right, you guys. What other questions do we have? Let's keep this conversation going. I'm curious. We have a lot of people on here, and I haven't seen all of these people. I think there's people here that are finding me for the first time. Something I like to do is, if you are brand new here, if you're seeing me for the first time, come across your For You page, put FYP in the chat. Who here is seeing me for the first time? Put FYP in the chat. Let's see who's here. Wow, you guys, that's a lot of people. Welcome in, Carlita. Welcome in, Stacy, Cassandra, Mama Tia, Katz, Adriana, Alicia, Macca, Kyle. I love this. Empowered Love Hub, Christine, Mama, Heather, Susie. Thank you guys for coming in. We're already almost at 10,000 likes. You guys, I think we can get it up to 20,000 within the next 5 minutes or so. Just if everyone will just tap the screen a few times, it's going to get us up. Thank you guys for being here. It means a lot. Let's go ahead a little bit about myself. If you're just new and coming in, I'm a parent. Every 15-20 minutes, I like to share this for the new people coming in. I'm a parent of 2 kids with autism. I'm an autism advocate. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I work with kids with autism for the past 13 years. I am the CEO of a company that provides autism services and throughout the state of Utah. And I love coming on here and finding my village. All right, you guys, let's keep on looking here and I go live every day around the same time, so about noon Eastern time until about 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so if you want to be able to see us again, go ahead and tap that screen right here where it says follow. If you don't follow me yet, make sure that you do so that you can see next time I go live. All right, let's mute that person. All right, my 4-year-old level 2 is throwing things like cars and Tupperware lids and laughing. Any advice? Guys, have you guys had this happen? My kids with autism don't understand the word no. They don't understand the word no. I say no, and they can't read my emotion. Like, even if I'm frustrated and I say, no, don't do that, they laugh, they giggle. It reinforces their behavior. Just know that's with autism, that is very common. And we need to work on skills in a way that might not be as intuitive as classical parenting. Classical parenting, the kids understand that they want you to be happy. They're in tune with your emotions. They see, okay, I want to make my mom and dad happy. And if they're sad, that means I shouldn't do that thing. And a lot of kids with autism, it takes longer to build that connection. It has to do with joint attention. So just give it time. And sometimes if they don't understand no, and if they laugh and think it's funny, then maybe consider not saying it, because you're likely reinforcing the behavior. And instead, you can physically intervene and prevent them from being able to throw, or give them a safe place to be able to do it. Yeah, Elizabeth says some nonverbal kids throw toys that indicate that they're done playing with it. Yeah, you gotta look at in ABA they talk about functions of behavior. Have you guys heard about this? Functions of behavior. Do you guys know what the functions of behavior are? I haven't talked about that much, and I'm a BCBA. What are the functions of behavior? Do you guys know? Throw them out there if you guys know any of them. But when we're looking at behavior, we're looking at what in the environment is reinforcing this behavior to happen. And there's several of them. They typically break them down into 4 categories, but really anything can reinforce behavior. But they try to make everything fit into those categories. There we go. We got a lot of people on here that know. Okay, so okay, I'm seeing it. Nancy says attention. Attention is a function of behavior. So sometimes people engage in a behavior, and then that behavior gets reinforced by attention. I saw someone else. Oh, Nancy also said sensory. There we go. So sometimes it's automatic that you engage in a behavior and it just feels good to do, right? You talk about hand flapping. They're not doing that for attention. They're doing that because it feels good, because it's something that just naturally feels good. Some others that I'm seeing are escape. I saw someone say escape. So a lot of times people engage in a behavior, and when I say behavior, that doesn't mean bad behavior. Any behavior, everything that we do is behavior. And so when you talk about what reinforces behavior, we have sensory, so automatic. We have attention, that can reinforce behavior. Escape, so getting out of doing something, or escaping a demand or something unpleasant. And then the last is tangible, so when you're gaining it to access something, engaging in the behavior. And so it's important as we look at behavior. If your kid is throwing something, are they doing it because it feels good? Are they doing it when you ask them to do something? Are they doing it because they enjoy you saying no and they enjoy you looking at them? You got to look at what are the environmental things happening that is impacting that behavior to occur. Cassandra says, do you think in-home ABA or in the clinic is better? Good question. Good question. In-home or in-clinic ABA? Okay, here's what I think. I like both. Here's the realistic take of which version of ABA is better. In clinic, you get better treatment. The technicians there are being supervised better. There's more pressure to be actively engaging in the child, and you see a lot less of just sitting on their phones or things like that. In home, especially if they're just alone with your kid and you're not like with them all the time, they're not going to get as much done. They're not going to do as many trials. However, there's also some benefits to in-home. One, there's a convenience factor of it being in your home, but there's a very realistic part of this that being in home helps you generalize the skill to in-home. And so let's see here. We have over on the tube, you guys. I'm not trying to drive people over there, but today I am prioritizing. If I'm not reading your comment over on TikTok, just know that I am prioritizing all comments that come in on the tube, and it's yeah. You don't have to go over there, but if you want to guarantee that I'll read it, head on over there. Okay. Let's keep on reading. How to desensitize a child with an adverse reaction to water. Water splashing on skin, clothes. User, there are a lot of sensory issues with kids with autism, and you're asking the right question here. How do you make it so that some of those sensory things are not as hard for a kid with autism? That's a hard thing to talk about because in a lot of ways, there's not a whole lot you can do. There are some things, but just know that the autistic brain is so loud. The world is so loud. Every sensory input is enhanced, I want to say, because they're occurring at the same time. I share this sometimes, this analogy that a baby has, when a baby's born, they sense everything all at the same time. They feel a light, or they see a light, they feel the clothes on their body, they hear the noises, and it causes synaptic connections to fire in the brain. And your body goes through something called pruning, which gets rid of the irrelevant synaptic connections in the brain. And kids with autism, a lot of times they prune differently. And so what does that mean? That means that right now I want you to think about, are you paying attention to the noises in the background? Are you paying attention to the light that's turned on? Are you looking at that? Are you paying attention to the person chewing gum next to you? Are you paying attention to the ceiling fan that's spinning? And a lot of us, we tune out to those things, but kids with autism, every little thing is happening at the same time, and this gives us some empathy for kids, okay, with autism, because and anybody with autism, if they're experiencing that, because the world shouldn't be so loud, and our job as parents to support them is to help make the world a little bit quieter and a little bit safer for them. Okay. What tests can someone do to check if a child has autism? Okay, if you are wondering if your child has autism, what I want you to do is, first of all, do the MChat. It's a screener. It's free. It's online. You can find it anywhere. Look up MChat, MCHAT, autism screener. And it has a lot of really good questions on there. It'll ask you things like, when you point, does your child look at where you're pointing? Does your child fixate on things like their hand? Does your child respond when you call their name? Does your child engage in hand flapping, spinning, or other repetitive behaviors? And it'll ask questions like that. Now, after you get your results, the MChat will tell you if you're at high risk, moderate risk, or low risk for autism. If you're at high risk, don't wait for a pediatrician. You go and you call a psychologist and you say that you want to be tested for autism. You want your child to be tested for autism. And then they do the thorough evaluation. It takes a couple hours. They do what's called the ADOS or the CARS. So your pre-screener tends to catch about 95% of cases of autism. So it's not perfect. It's not exact, but if it indicates high likelihood, I mean, that's a good indication that you need a proper evaluation. So call the psychologist and don't settle on a wait list of more than 6 months. If you call somewhere and they say, shoot, we're about a year out, let me get your info. Don't count yourself on that wait list. You can stay on there just in case something comes up, but you need to call everywhere within a 5-hour radius of where you live and get your child diagnosed within a couple months. There are evaluations available out there. You just have to call and be willing to drive. All right, you guys. Carrie says, hey there, my little man is 9 and has autism. My school keeps telling me I need to push him to do things. Carrie, I'm wondering what things they're talking about. I don't like the phrase push. I don't like pushing our kids. Our goal as autism parents is to put our children in contact with reinforcement more often. And so if we can, there are some things that you could call it push, like something the school talked to me about the other day is like, hey, look, when you get your 3.5-year-old dressed, don't just do it for him, but prompt him to pull up his pants. And so he can start doing it himself. And something clicked in my mind of like, why have I not been doing that? Of course I need to encourage him to be, putting on his own pants. And so there could be little things like that the school is aware of like, oh yeah, let's help. And so maybe ask them some precise things, but the general sentiment of, oh, you need to be harder on him, you need to push him. Nah, I don't like that. We work on things, we help them grow. And sometimes that does feel like pushing them a little bit outside of their comfort zone, but it's always with their assent. It's always with their permission. It's not making them, angry or mad. I mean, people don't learn that way. Lexi over on the tube says, I'm going to listen to this like a podcast while I drive. You guys, please do. We have every single day, we have these discussions. Just be aware of one thing. In the morning, I like these lives right now. It's very supportive. It's targeted to autism parents, mostly, or people with autism, or people with good intention questions. My second live of the day, when I go live at night, which I do sometimes, tends to be a little bit more controversial. I talk about things that I am passionate about, and I advocate for kids with autism. We talk about things like vaccines and how they don't cause autism. I talk about things like Tylenol, how it doesn't cause autism. I talk about things like detox and how it's a scam and things like that. And so if during the day, I am very much, this is a supportive environment, and I'm also supportive at night, but just know there is a little bit of a difference. You'll notice if there's a blue background, it's more of those conversations with people who disagree. And if it's the more orangish background, it is more of a supportive answer all questions kind of a live. So those are the two kind of lives that I do every day. Destiny, I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and see you are alive. Destiny, come on now. Don't call me out like that. Don't call me out. It's not middle of the night. We must just live in different parts. I think I got off of the live at 10:30 my time last night. It wasn't too bad. I kept Lexi and Amy up though, and Destiny, I'd be snoozing and Kylan be fired up at midnight. Oh my gosh. You know what? I do tend to go live sometimes when I'm feeling a little like angry, like I need to be a little confrontational with people. I go live at night, and I'm kind, but I do like to address misinformation about autism. I really do. Lexi over on the tube. Again, I'm prioritizing anything that comes over there. I guarantee today, if you have a question I'm not reading, you hop on over there. I will absolutely read everything that goes over there today. Lexi says, I had an old lady at the park ask me if my son was getting vaccines when she noticed he was different than her grandchild. Oh my gosh, Lexi, let me tell you about this. My daughter, who's 1.5, got diagnosed about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I came on live that very day. And I was saying how my daughter was diagnosed today with autism. And the first comment I see after I say that is, did you vaccinate her? Guys, if you are just learning about autism, and someone tells you their child has autism, don't ask them if they vaccinated their child. Don't ask them how much screen time they get. Don't ask them anything about how they parent their child. Because what you are doing when you ask those questions is you are pushing blame onto the parents. Now, you might not think of it that way, but the parent feels that way. If you tell a parent, hey, if you say, hey, my child has autism, she just got diagnosed, and your immediate thing is to question and think of what caused it for that parent, you are not answering the right way. Let me tell you how to answer that question. I saw someone reply one time with this, and I loved it. There's 2 questions that you can ask. The first one is, if someone says, my child just got diagnosed with autism, you should ask, how are you feeling about that? How are you? Tell me how you're feeling. And have a conversation with them about how they're doing, because some of us, it's hard and we go through grief. And then the next question is, how can I help? Where do you need me? How do I be a part of your village? Those 2 things are what you need to ask. How are you doing? How can I help? That's what you need to say. You don't need to ask anything about how it happened. You don't need to ask about their disciplining or their screen time or their vaccination schedule or Tylenol. Destiny, of course, come on up. Did that work? There we go.
Hey, can you hear me?
You're chopping in and out. You're cutting out.
Service. I just went on edges.
Hold on. Can you drop, Destiny, and then come back up?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Have you worked in schools? I've done consulting in schools a little bit. I've had the parent experience from schools. Yeah. Nubia says, best way to start a diagnosis, I was told to get my 9-year-old daughter tested. Yeah. You need to call a psychologist is what you need to do. The people who do the diagnosing are psychologists. Yeah, let's try it again. Destiny, let me send you an invite. Have you done an ISCA? Yes, I have done an ISCA.
Is it working?
You're cutting in and out pretty bad, Destiny. I don't know. Are you in a place with bad service? Shoot, Destiny, it's not working. What is an ISCA? It's an assessment for behavior analysts, and it's kind of like a functional assessment, but it's more about how do you turn the behavior off and on instead of what is the exact function. And so it's more of a synthesized assessment of what's the combination of functions, because a lot of time it's not just attention or access. It is a combination of all of those things, and so you're identifying the exact things that turn the behavior off and on. Okay, I wish I was an expert. I don't remember. When I do it, I have to have someone that knows what they're doing. I've only done it a couple times. Sorry, Kay. I'm sorry. Yeah, Destiny, no worries. Let me send you an invite up here. Elizabeth says, do I have experience with treating people over 25 or mostly children? Elizabeth, I do actually. One of my clinics is for adults, but it's more of the higher support needs adults is what I have experience with. Not those, for those who are just barely getting diagnosed and they don't have a lot of support needs, but they do have struggles that comes with autism. I usually refer them to mental health therapy with someone who specializes in autism. Destiny, how are you doing?
Good. Is the third time a charm? Is it better?
It is so much better. Hey, why do you keep calling me out for being up in the middle of the night?
Look, I got up at like 11:30 last night, and I had all my notifications, and it says Space to Thrive Autism is live. I'm like, what is going on, Kylan? Go to bed.
And you didn't join? Don't you know that you have to? You didn't join. Don't you know when you get that notification, you're supposed to come on?
My kids have been wearing me. My husband's been gone. He doesn't get back until tomorrow night. They've been wearing me out. My eyes were closed by 8:30.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh,
but I did want, before I lose service again, I did just want to say,
yeah.
Kylan talks a lot about creating a village and finding people, and everybody's like, I don't know how to do that. And I did something yesterday. I took a leap of faith. I created a local Facebook group for autism moms in my area, and we already have over 75 members. People are connecting, they're supporting each other, they're introducing themselves. If you don't have something like that, make one. Make a Facebook group and post it in your City Watch page. Invite people, and eventually it'll grow, and you'll find one or two connections, and one or two connections is fine. That's all you need. So if you don't have something like that, if you're somebody that doesn't have a village, that is a good way to create one.
Destiny, well done. And remind me where you're at.
We're in Alabama.
Okay, and so if you're in Alabama, message Destiny and get on her Facebook group, you guys. Is it just for your city? Is that what it's for?
I have it like for the surrounding counties. I just wanted to make it close so that like if people need physical support, they like they can meet up for play dates. So I have like the surrounding city.
Oh, and now we're losing you, Destiny. We're losing you now. All right, I'm gonna drop you, Destiny. But thank you so much for coming up and sharing that. And it's such a good example. We talk about having a village, and that is the very first step, you guys. Before you're worrying about all the therapies and all that you have to do, the very first thing is I need you to take care of you. And a lot of times we can't do it alone. You need family, and some of us have family and others don't. And if you have no one, if you have no village, we need to build one. And that could be a local community, so you have a physical village. It's also this live stream. This is a village, you guys. I've come to know a lot of you wonderful people, and you mean a lot to me. I had a hard day, and a lot of you messaged me and said, like, hey, I saw you didn't go live today. Are you okay? And it meant the world to me to know that there's people out there that care, and this community is awesome. So build a village. If you don't have a village, don't just settle and say, I don't have one. Sorry, next step. No, focus on it. Build a village. Go bring cookies to your neighbor. Go post on Facebook and try to find a play date for your child. Do all that you can to build that village. Nikki says my village is going into the bathroom by myself. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay, yeah, some days it's like that. It's my village is look, but a lot of times it's our own spouse that we're feeling alone, but we look at things and things might not be evenly split among spouses. And you may have a partner, but you may not feel like that partner is being part of your village. And if that's you, I want to tell you, like, focusing on that relationship and focusing on making sure that the mental load is split in your house fairly. That is a good part. That is a good first step of building your village. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Lexi. I missed some comments here. I like hearing low high support needs better than high low functioning. Yeah, that's usually how I address things. Yes. What? So she's in Alabama. Yeah. Oh, Lexi, you're an awesome mayor for this village. Oh my gosh. Don't call me a mayor. Oh my gosh. Don't do that. I'm just a friend, you guys. And we're at 20,000 likes, you guys. We're at 20,000 likes, and it's not even an hour into this live. So, oh, Carla says, why don't I feel my feelings in real time? Like my face is red, I look embarrassed, but I realize later. Oh my goodness. Yeah, recognizing feelings and emotions. If you have autism, that can be a real struggle, is recognizing your own feelings and emotions. And I've never heard it expressed that way, of like I don't recognize that feeling until later. But definitely with children, I see it all the time that they have a hard time recognizing what emotion they're feeling right now. Oh, Lexi is the president of the village. Oh my gosh. That's even worse. Let's go back to mayor. That's it. I'm mayor, you guys. Victoria, I don't know why, but it's difficult for me to make friends due to having autism. Victoria, I understand. I understand. Look, It can feel hard to make friends when you don't feel like you fit in, when you feel like you're the odd person out. And just know that no one is thinking that about you, right? Like you are thinking more about that about yourself than other people are thinking about it about you. Okay. Gabby says, my oldest son, only 4, is autistic. Could he struggle more because I treat him like typical kiddos? Gabby, you know what? Like in some ways, a kid is a kid, and we don't need to treat them all that different. But what we do need is to make sure that we support where there is support needed. And so my question is, does he have support needs that are not yet being addressed? And that is the way to look at this. Hugs to Victoria. All right. Does yours eat vegetables? Guys, diet with kids is hard. I'm curious about this. What are your kids' safe foods? If your child is pretty strict eating, what are your child's safe foods? Or if you have autism, what are your safe foods? That's a common thing that we see is that kids with autism have safe foods. Mine only eats pizza and chips and jelly sandwiches, says Vanessa. Cheerios. Okay, that's a good one. Chicken nuggets, pizza, corn nuts. Corn nuts, that's great. Chips. Chicken nuggets. Now it's pasta, mac and cheese. Cassie says chicken nuggets and French fries. Yeah. I think it's so fascinating that a lot of people with autism, there's similar safe foods, and it's chicken nuggets, French fries, and pizza. Like we hear those 3 all the time. Oh, and mac and cheese. Those 4 come up a lot. Mrs. Melinda says, mine only eats sour cream and onion chips and ramen and nuggets. Gabby says we've been stuck on lasagna for months now. You know what? Lasagna, that's a pretty good one though. You know what? I'm kind of glad that my son is so obsessed with pizza because it's such a good excuse. It's like, oh man, we got to make him happy today, right? Like we just got to order pizza tonight. It's for him. It's not for me. It's for him. JC says, do you just not eat if there isn't any safe foods? JC, that's a really good question. So a lot of people with autism, yes, you're exactly right. This old school strategy of parenting of like, no, just make your food, and if they're hungry enough, they'll eat it or they'll go to bed hungry. With that, it is so dangerous because kids with autism will literally starve if they don't have their safe foods. There's kids with autism who have ARFID, which is the restricted eating, and they become so malnourished because of when parents try to implement a strict diet that they need a G-tube to inject food directly into the stomach because they can't get enough calories to survive. And so that's it's one of those things you don't force a kid out of their safe foods. It doesn't work like that. Over on YouTube, we see, I feel bad for my neurotypical child getting less attention from me. Any advice there? Yes, I absolutely have advice. I want you to know that autism siblings are some of the most incredible humans on the planet. Do we have any autism siblings here? Put me in the chat if you have a sibling who is autistic. Are you an autism sibling? Put me in the chat if you're an autism sibling. I want to know if we have any autism siblings in here. Because I truly believe that autism siblings... Oh, I see LL Jessis, Victoria, Carla. Guys, autism siblings are some of the most incredible humans on the planet. I tell you what, my 10-year-old son, he's neurotypical, and he supports his siblings like crazy who have autism. And he came home from school the other day, a while back, and said, Dad, I made a new friend, and he has autism. And he was so proud and so excited that he made a friend with someone with autism, that he had this connection because his brother also has autism. And I mean, the inclusion, the acceptance that was there. It wasn't, there's a weird friend at school. No, it's love, it's support. And so what I want you to know, Lexi, is what you are experiencing is not giving enough attention to your neurotypical child. You should know that you are giving your child the absolute best chance at becoming a decent human being because they have a sibling with special needs. Okay. Cassie over on YouTube. You guys, if you don't know, I love the comments on TikTok. I do get to those, but I do prioritize. I will read any comment that is coming in on YouTube because it's a much smaller following over there. Cassie says, I have 4-year-old twin boys who both have autism. They will eat fruit snacks, chips, chicken quesadillas. They call it chicken pizza. I can get one twin to eat chilies if I put it on a tortilla chip. Oh, hey, that's not bad. Those are good safe foods. Salsa is the closest vegetable I can get to one of my sons to eat. Okay, so my child, my 2 kids with autism, they're obsessed with the veggie pouches. And we get the clean ones that just have veggies in them, like mashed up, like peas, carrots, and pears or something, you know? And I know it's not like it's the most healthy thing in the world, but really that's how my kids get veggies usually. Over on YouTube, also, I think my friend's family gets sick of me talking about autism so much. I do not care, though. Yeah. I think this has become kind of my outlet to stop annoying people about me talking about autism all the time and talk about it with people who want to talk about it with me. All right. Oh, and Cassie is an autism sibling, too, over on YouTube. Oh, my gosh. My younger brother, who is 32, has autism, and he lives with us. Oh, my gosh, Cassie. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. This is what I'm saying. The best humans on the planet are autism siblings. I will die on that hill. I mean, autism siblings, best humans. Okay. Danny says, hi, Kylan. Wondering what's your thoughts on leucovorin? Have you tried it for your kids? Okay. Good question. I have not started leucovorin. I've not started leucovorin with my children. The evidence is not there yet. The research is not there yet to really be a general recommendation for everybody. There have been 5 clinical trials, randomized clinical trials, with some improvement, specifically in a subset of kids with autism, that you can look at the FRAT testing to see if there's a folinic acid deficit. And in those children, there has been some improvement. But it's only 5 clinical trials with a small number of kids, and the largest one of those was retracted a couple weeks ago because of some inaccurate data. Now, since September, we have data now. We have data since September when President Trump and RFK Jr. announced 2 things. One, that Tylenol should be avoided because it causes autism, and 2, that leucovorin should be used to support autism. Both of those things were not accurate and also had a real impact on behavior. We saw up to 16% decrease in Tylenol usage for pregnant women in the emergency room after that. We saw a nearly doubling of leucovorin prescriptions since that press conference. That's not how medical changes are supposed to happen. There was no new research that came out that prompted that press conference. They just decided to share some things. And so I am excited about leucovorin. Okay, I'm talking negatively. I am actually super pumped about leucovorin. And I think it's very promising. But it's still early stages. I think within the next year, we're going to have a lot more info. They're going to have an idea on dosing. They're going to have a better idea on who it applies for. And oh my gosh, I just got a Galaxy. Have I ever had one of those before? Scooter. Oh my gosh. I've seen people get those before. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Scooter. That was nuts. All right. So I'm super optimistic about leucovorin. I don't recommend other people by default do it. Okay. Let's go ahead. And we have a lot of comments over here on YouTube where we're gonna read some things. Let's see. Phoenicia over on YouTube says, we started with potty training this week. She is now 3 years old. So far, so good. Phoenicia, well done. That's a big step to do the potty training. Amazing. Lexi says, Cassie, you're an angel. Love that. My 8-year-old already states my boy can't live with her when I die. Yeah. He's setting boundaries from the beginning. That's hilarious. My fiance has a little brother, and I suggested that he should get tested, but my mother-in-law is so against it. She doesn't think he has autism. What can I do? Oh, man. You know what? It makes me so sad that people are so afraid of the label of autism that they won't diagnose it. That's what this culture does when we suggest things like vaccines cause it, toxins cause it. It makes it sound like a disease that parents are trying to pretend like their kid doesn't have. And I see it all the time, Manny. I just, the big thing for me is remind them what a diagnosis does. A diagnosis doesn't limit their potential. Instead, it opens the door to supports that expands their potential. That's the biggest thing to get across to people. Okay. Lexi, and again, I have to read this. I'm not getting political here. Boo to Trump's crazy talk. Thank you for sharing that over on YouTube. It's wild to say all that without actual evidence. Yeah. To be fair, the Tylenol thing, there was some evidence. Okay. There was a study from Harvard that showed a slight correlation with Tylenol during pregnancy and autism. Now, you have to keep in mind, why do people take Tylenol when they're pregnant? Might it be because they have infections? Might it be because they have fevers and other things going on? There are a lot of things that are outside of the control of the mother that leads to or increases the risk to autism. When you rule out other confounding factors, confounding variables to that study, which other studies have done since then, Tylenol does not increase the risk of autism. Okay, Cassie says, Lexi, thank you. I am not an angel. I just care about my family, and my mom taught us to always fight for each other. And now I have twin boys with autism who I have to fight for. Cassie, you're fighting for your twin boys. You're fighting for your brother. I mean, you are amazing. You are amazing. And that's not enough to say. You don't need more praise. I know that. You need real support, and I hope you have that. I hope you have a village helping you, because that's a lot on your plate. FHL says, my 10-year-old, and this is over on YouTube that I'm reading this, my 10-year-old was recently diagnosed level 2. His dad, my ex, believes that I gave him autism with my answers on the questionnaire. He masks with his father so much that he is so stressed. FHL, you're saying that your ex thinks that you like manufactured this autism diagnosis, that you did not answer it correctly, and now your child has that diagnosis. That's wild. Look, I want all mothers to hear this. The blame for autism always seems to fall to you. And I am so sorry about that. It's not fair. You did not cause your child's autism. You did not, you vaccinating your child, you disciplining your child, your parenting style, your screen time, you did not cause it. Genetics caused it, which is both you and your partner. And in some ways, there's some studies to suggest one of the biggest one risk factor is parental age, and more so the father's age. That the older the father is at conception, it increases the risk if the father's over the age of 40. Britt says, do you have more specific recommendations for building your village? It is hard to trust anyone. Britt, I totally understand how hard it is to trust people. And I think we can not trust people and also build a village. Let me explain what I mean. If you are an autism parent, you probably see on your TikTok feed or wherever else you watch videos, terrifying moments at schools, on school buses, in therapy where children are harmed. And I hate watching them. It makes me sick. It makes me want to do things I shouldn't do. And it makes me not want to trust a single person. I I think it's what did I read the other day? I think 33%, 1 in 3 kids with autism will be abused at some point in their life. I don't think I can say that word either. I keep saying the things I can't say. But makes it so we don't want to trust anyone. So what do you do? How do you build a village if you don't feel like you can trust anyone? Well, you build a village without trusting them. And what you do, here's what I do is I try to set it up to where people are not likely to do anything, cause any harm to my kids. For example, I might ask a couple to watch my kids while they're both there. That like, hey, I know my kids are a lot. Is there a time that you and your partner are both available to for us to be able to drop our kids off? Autism kids are absolutely vulnerable, but it can't stop you from building a village. You need to trust people. And that doesn't mean the moment you meet them, you drop your kids off with them. No, develop friendships first, right? Like I trust my mom with my kids, okay? And I know my mom and I trust her. You can develop those friendships where you know the person and you can trust the person. You can never fully trust them, but with precautions, you can trust them. Yeah, Lexi, I know I said the Y word. Yeah, I keep saying the words I shouldn't. Phoenicia says I'm from South Africa. Therapy and support for children with ASD are very limited here. Yeah, I am so sorry. I'm mostly know United States services and supports for people with autism, and I think you should be aware of what that standard could look like. In the United States, insurance is mandated to cover up to 40 hours per week of ABA therapy for kids with autism. And it's expensive for insurance, but it is life-changing for the kids. This isn't just fancy babysitting. This is therapy that really has an impact on the children. FHL says, thoughts on ABA therapy? And then Phoenicia below says, yes, I also want to hear thoughts on ABA therapy. ABA therapy is applied behavior analysis therapy. It is one of the 4 core therapies that I recommend for kids with autism. I recommend that people with autism absolutely participate in ABA therapy. Now, why does ABA have a bad name? Why do some people not like it? Well, I'm very open to that. I know why. So, ABA, 15 years ago and longer, as it was an emerging support for people with autism, focused on helping a child become more neurotypical. Yeah, trying to make them neurotypical. They focused on things like hand flapping and making eye contact and things that we would consider masking today. And a lot of adults with autism that went through that kind of therapy, it was making them go against things that helped them feel regulated and safe. And now they have, what can be described as PTSD from the therapy that they received. There also was an overemphasis on compliance of you can't disagree with an adult, which can create dangerous situations. And so be mindful of that. As you have a child going into ABA therapy, I recommend that you really push for that you are aware of what goals they're working on. Don't support goals that promote masking or over compliance, and your kid's going to make great progress. Having 30 to 40 hours per week of one-on-one attention to play with your child, I mean that is life changing. Lexi says my guy is in speech 2 times a week. Yeah, yep. Speech therapy is also an amazing therapy for kids with autism that I recommend. Victoria says, can't autism happen due to the environment you're in? Okay, there are risk factors to autism. We know that autism, well, let me get there. I'm going to catch up on YouTube and then I'll get there about can autism be caused by the environment you're in. We did ABA for about a year. My son's behaviors got better, so we quit. Yeah. Should we have done more? I would consult with them, but it's more than reducing problem behavior, but it's increasing communication. If there are skills that your child needs support with right now, ABA therapy is amazing. It doesn't just have to be focused on reducing problem behaviors, though that can happen. This has been great. I'm glad I found your page. I hope you all have a great day. Remember, you know best for your children. I have to go. We are taking the boys to the park. Yes, take your kids to the park. You guys, if it's a matter of watching this stream or taking your kids to the park, you go to the park. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I'm glad that you're here. ABA used to involve rewards and disciplines. Yeah, it used to be like a lot more overly like focused, especially on the discipline part of punishment. So reinforcement and punishment are absolutely at the core of ABA still, but it's using them in a natural way. And I don't like punishment. How I'm talking about it is not what you're thinking it is. I'll get into that at some point, but yeah, I love how you worded that. Don't support goals that support masking. Yeah. Yes, you guys have input in the goals that your child gets to work on with autism. And if you see goals that support masking, absolutely recommend that those be changed. Now, what I will say though is if they engage in sensory seeking behavior that's harmful, like hitting their head, which a lot of kids with autism do, that needs to be addressed, but it can be done in a way that's neuroaffirming, that is loving, that gives them a different outlet to help them regulate. Okay. I want to talk about that comment that was, can autism be caused by your environment? We know that autism is developed in utero. We have clear evidence of that. In other words, you're born with autism. You're born with it. So prenatally and perinatally, which means like during pregnancy and during birth. So up to 90% of autism is genetic. We know this from twin studies, that if one twin has autism, the other twin, if they're identical twins, almost always also has autism. Whereas siblings, it's only up to 20%, and then just the general population, it's 2 to 3% have autism. And so from twin studies and other mechanisms, we know that up to 90% is genetic. So what about the other 10 to 20%? Well, let me tell you, there are risk factors during pregnancy. One of the largest risk factors that we've identified is pollutants. So especially from vehicles, that breathing in those toxins, the pollutants, increases your risk for your child to have autism. Tylenol is not one of those risk factors. There's other risk factors as well, though, like some pregnancy complications, the age of the parents, the oxygen, and being born. My daughter had this risk factor of not breathing when she was born and having to be in the NICU. Even though she was full term, she wasn't breathing. And we don't know how that could have impacted things. Premature babies. Yes. That I was trying to come up with that one. Yes. Premature babies, premature birth. Absolutely. Infections during pregnancy. Here's the thing though, is all of these are not within the mother's control. And so when we talk about these risk factors, in no way are we passing blame onto mothers. Mothers did not cause this to happen. It was outside of their control. Gestational diabetes. Yes, that one is a little bit more mixed, but yes, there is some evidence to suggest gestational diabetes can increase risk factor to autism. IVF. I don't know. I'm curious. I haven't read that it has, but I'm always open to learning more risk factors. Okay. So most of the studies that I'm seeing have found that although some studies have found some association, it's typically because of when there's IVF, there's also an increased chance that the parents are older. which does increase the risk of autism. But there's no meaningful increase just simply from IVF. Hayden, vaccines caused mine. Nope, they did not. Okay. Let's see. Got to go do some work. Thanks for the talk. Absolutely. Thanks for being part of this. FHL over on YouTube says, dang, I lived in Houston when I was pregnant. Highest pollution in U.S. Yeah. There's also wildfire smoke is a new one that's come out that during pregnancy, if they're exposed to extremely high levels of wildfire smoke, that has been identified as a risk factor. Now, keep in mind, this is a very, very, very small percentage of what actually causes autism. It's genetic, and genetics are the blueprint, and some of these environmental factors can just help how the genetics play out. Destiny, absolutely, absolutely. We got it for sure, and we're all super excited that you started building that village. Thank you for doing that. Sunny says, hi, how are you? First time listening to you. Guys, I think we have a lot of people that are new here. Let me give a little bit of an introduction. I do this about every 15 to 20 minutes. I probably won't always do that. I know some of you active listeners, it's probably annoying. I don't like doing it, but I do it so people know who I am, and I'm not just some random guy talking about autism. Okay, so I am an autism advocate. I got 2 kids with autism. I love people with autism. I think autism is beautiful. I think it's also a struggle sometimes, and we need support. I'm an autism parent, so I have kids with autism. I'm also a board-certified behavior analyst. I've worked with kids with autism for the past 13 years, and I am the CEO of a company that provides services to kids with autism. I have a master's degree in autism studies. I created a training platform that has trained about 80% of the current board-certified behavior analysts to help them pass the exam. It's a program called ABA Wizard. And so if you're in the ABA world, you've probably heard of that one. Most people have used it to help prepare for the exam. I live in Utah, and autism is my life. I come on these lives just because I like it. I think it's fun. I enjoy having these conversations. I've met some of the most amazing, beautiful people in the world by talking to them here on these lives. I don't have a lot of judgment, but here in the mornings, it's more of a support group. We talk to each other, we support each other, we laugh together, we cry together. Sometimes we bring people up. Sometimes I just ramble on and on. But then in the evenings, make sure you follow me. If this sounds intriguing and it says follow right there at the top, tap that button. It lets you follow without leaving the page. Then I go live in the evenings as well, and we do some more controversial conversations. We talk about things like how vaccines don't cause autism. We talk about things like how detox is largely a scam for autism. We talk about just some of these hard conversations about autism, and I bring people up who disagree. So let's keep on going with some of these conversations. Okay. CEO stands for cover up. Huh. Is there anything you know now that you wish you knew earlier? Our son was recently diagnosed. Yes. Seamus, I absolutely do. I have some thoughts. Keep it simple. The autism journey is simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. The funny thing is that guy says I'm covering something up because I'm a CEO. Buckshot, that's such an interesting take because everything that I share is about how simple you can make autism. I am here because autism parents need support, and you don't need to overcomplicate this. So before you start thinking about all the things to do, I just want to encourage you, take care of yourself. Your child, here's what I wish I knew. What you do in the next 3 months isn't going to change the entire outcome of your child. What you need to focus on right now is making sure you are taking care of yourself. You deserve to not be burnt out. You deserve to be able to go and do things just for you. And your child is going to need you for a long time. And you need to prioritize your own self-care. Okay, let's keep on looking here. How do I stop easily getting angry? I'm so sad. I recommend if you're on here asking this question, I'm assuming you have autism and you're fully conversational. One of the best supports for people in your situation is mental health therapy. I'm not diagnosed with autism, but I go to mental health therapy on a regular basis. It's an amazing tool and not something you should be embarrassed about. That's what I recommend. Wow, I'm so glad to have found this page. I could really use support navigating how to best support my son. You guys, let's talk through those other steps. First step, if you're an autism parent, build your village. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you are doing the basic things to take care of yourself. Second, get a diagnosis for your child. Get clarity, and you fight for a diagnosis if your child needs an evaluation. Step 3, I need you to build the ultimate care team. You have been promoted. As soon as your child has an autism diagnosis, you have been promoted to a care team manager, meaning you are now responsible to build the ultimate dream team to support your child. If you put your effort towards finding the best care for your child, instead of all the effort into learning all you can about autism, it's going to pay off much better for you and your child. Find the professionals, find the experts, build your dream team. I recommend ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and mental health therapy. Those 4 core therapies that you decide, and we can talk at another time about how to decide which ones to do. You don't need to do all of them. Build your care team. Get a pediatrician on your care team that understands autism. And have your team that you are managing. Step 4 is that once you have your care team and you have your village and everything is stable, your child's receiving care, that's when I want you to go and learn all you can about autism. Learn about how the government is cutting funding to people with autism. I don't know if you guys know this, but our services for our children are under attack a little bit right now in the United States. And I've done a lot of advocacy in my own state to ensure services are able to continue. That is the 4th part, is learn about autism, advocate for autism. The 5th part is preparing your child for their future. And that looks like things like learning how to put in place a special needs trust, applying for long-term care, applying for disability and Social Security disability funding. And those are the five basic parts of the autism journey. We overcomplicate it. You need to relieve yourself from this belief that you always need to look into all the fringe conspiracies out there and try them all for your child. Your child is not a guinea pig. If it's not established, you don't need to be trying it with your kid. If it's not out there, like, you don't need to be overly complicating your kid's diet. That puts too much stress and challenges on you as the parent. You don't need to be overly focused on gut health. Yes, if your child is constipated, if you're worried about gut pain, if your child has celiac disease, absolutely focus on those things. But there's so many of these things. Just don't worry about those things. They're not evidence-based. They're not going to be better for your child. There's a lot of research to suggest that they don't, and it's can sometimes cause more harm than good. And so it's all about, my whole content that I talk about is, autism parents, you're overcomplicating this. Take care of yourself, keep it simple, and support your child. Okay. This is a special needs trust, and what else? I need to write this down. Okay. So for those wondering, DJ says, cut gluten, dairy, sugar, take probiotics, take antioxidants, reduce histamine, remove synthetic B9. This is the exact stuff I'm talking about. Don't do that stuff. You're overcomplicating it. If you do that for all your kids, then sure, if you're really into nutrition, but there's nothing about autism that says that you need to cut gluten, dairy, and sugar. You guys, oh my goodness. Like that, telling that to someone who just has a child that just got diagnosed with autism, you are doing more harm than good. I hope you know that. You are causing more harm than good to promote extreme diets because these parents are already burnt out. They don't know how to help their kid. And now you're putting so much more stress onto them in things that are not evidence-based to actually support. Okay. Over on YouTube, I do read comments on prioritized comments over on YouTube. If I was pregnant and I didn't know and then took a Plan B pill on about 8 weeks pregnant, does that increase the risk factor or is it more majority based on genetics? Phoenicia, thank you for being vulnerable. I know that's probably a really hard thing to discuss. Let me look into this and get back to you. If you want to shoot me a DM to remind me, I don't know. I don't know on this one. I'm okay to say when I don't know something, and that is something I don't know. Care team manager, yes. Okay. Over on YouTube, I am also aware that gut health is super important to assist in making my daughter more aware to be able to make connections to the verbal side of things. Do we go diet specific or a general change? Phoenicia, so this is one of those things where there's a theory in autism about the gut health. It's called the gut health or the gut brain axis theory. And you got to keep in mind that it's only based on theory. There's no evidence that fixing gut health causes any meaningful impact to autism symptoms or promote communication. What we do know is that if your child has pain in their gut, if they have upset stomach, if they're, constipated, absolutely. But you don't do that by finding influencers online selling you supplements. You address it by going to a GI doctor. You go to a GI doctor and you get recommendations from them. And so if you're looking at addressing GI issues and stomach issues, it's a red flag if you're learning about it from an influencer and they're selling you supplements or a treatment or something to address it. Okay. Yeah, DJ, it's one of those that focusing on health is always a good thing. And I have no doubt that focusing on nutrition helps any child and can change any child's life. But you have to understand, a lot of kids with autism, you can't just change their diet. That's what a lot of people don't understand. The people that come in and try to promote the gut health stuff, I know it's well-intentioned. I really do. But a lot of it is a total misunderstanding of where our kids are at right now. That's not possible for most of our kids. Cutting out gluten, dairy, and sugar is not possible for a lot of our kids. They would end up with a G-tube. That happens quite often, so please be careful. Libby says, have you ever heard of neurotherapy? My mom's been trying that on me to fix my autism. What does that include? What does neurotherapy include? Is this like brain balance kind of thing? This is like saying that you have autism because the left side of your brain is not coordinating with the right side of your brain, and you have to do these therapies to realign how your brain communicates, because none of that has any evidence and science behind it. Amanda says, is there any vitamin or medicine you can take for autism? Nope. Yeah, Miss Carrots, he's right. No need to cut foods. I'm asking about celiac because of a diagnosis, not a theory. Exactly. Celiac is very different, you guys. Celiac disease is absolutely, I mean, you are going to need to make changes to your child's diet if you have that diagnosis. Okay. Does cutting out red 40 help? Okay, so there are some studies about the dyes, that some dyes do tend to impact some kids. It's not something that is like a super dramatic thing that everyone needs to be super worried about, but I do support, that's one of the rare things that I agree with some of the movement that this current administration is making. I much prefer the focus on healthy foods and making it so that that it doesn't utilize all of our brain power to find the perfect diet for our kids, but if there are harmful things, to just get them out at the beginning. But still, it's a minimal thing. It's not something that's autism specific. I recommend talk to your pediatrician about that for sure. Can I supplement with multivitamins? Talk to your pediatrician because sometimes multivitamins aren't necessary and they're expensive. A lot of times your pediatrician can look at how your child is developing and how their labs look and things like that and can make judgments on if they feel like it's necessary. I get reached out to all the time by supplement companies, and there's one that sells like a odorless powder multivitamin. And I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? Like for some people, if the pediatrician is recommending a multivitamin, that could be a great option for people with autism. But I'm not going to recommend this as a default. I'm not going to tell parents that they need to go and start on a multivitamin just because their kid has autism or because they're not eating a wide variety of foods. Not everyone needs that. Is Feingold diet junk science? What's included in the Feingold diet? Let me look. So a lot of the diets, if it's autism specific, it's not a helpful thing. Every kid can benefit from better nutrition. Okay, the Feingold diet. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of support for it. Not a whole lot of support. They find that it's mixed and somewhat supportive for a very small subset of children sensitive to food dyes. Not all of our autistic kids have sensitivities to food dyes. That can happen, but it's not common. Magmar says, I'm so lost for my child. I'm burnt out trying. Magmar, I am so sorry. I said the other day, and I feel this quite often. Tell me if you guys feel this. I want to know if people relate to this, but sometimes I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, but my back is about to break. And it feels like everything... There's always more that I need to do and add onto my plate, and no possible way to support it. And feeling like that makes me really sensitive and passionate when I hear other people promoting even more to put onto our plates unnecessarily. And I did see the question about what is the most visible trait of autism. I'm always worried that that people can tell that I have autism. Jess, I'll talk about the Autism Trust for sure. Just give me a second here. Visible traits of autism. There's not really a visible trait of autism, and there is this social anxiety that is common with autism, where it feels like all the eyes are on you. You feel like you are performing a play and you're the only one without a script, and everyone else knows what they're doing except for you. And so you feel like all the eyes are on you and everyone can tell that what you're doing is not does not fit in. But you should know that that is more of a reflection of how you feel than a perception of reality. People don't know that you have autism. There's no visible traits, and a lot fewer people are judging you than you actually think. All right, I need to catch up on the YouTube, you guys. We got some YouTube comments. Autistic kids don't need to be anywhere near normal kids. My kid comes home scared because of them. Oh my gosh. What a hateful comment. What? Am I reading this right? Did I miss something? Autistic kids don't need to be anywhere near normal kids. My kid comes home scared because of them. Let me ask you something. What does normal mean? What is a normal kid? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Let me tell you something, okay? I need you to know something. Do you know what percentage of kids with autism get abused? I don't care if I get banned. I'll turn this live off if I have to, but I need to address this. Do you know what percentage of kids with autism get abused? About 1 in 3. In the school system, it is not a matter of autistic kids harming others. The autistic kids are not the aggressors. They're the ones who get harmed. Working on getting autistic children out of neurotypical schools and classrooms, they are dangerous. No. Parents like you are dangerous. Parents like you are dangerous. What I need you to do is recognize that my child goes through 30, 40 hours of care per week of therapies and education to be able to fit in with your child. And what you need to do is teach your child to love and accept and support. This isn't a problem of kids with support needs being dangerous to kids without support needs. This is a matter of, are schools equipped to support people how they need to be supported? Okay? Kids with autism are not the enemy. And neither are neurotypical kids, okay? They're not the enemy either. And you pitting them against each other is extremely harmful and toxic. It makes me so upset. So upset. Guys, if you have thoughts to share with him, hop on over to YouTube. He made this comment very openly on YouTube. And if you want to go over there and share a thought that you have for him, I will absolutely read any of your comments to him. Because this is what harms people. This is what creates division. This is why people don't accept our kids who are different. It's because of parents like this who are extremely judgmental. They're not saying, how do we support these kids who have higher support needs? They say, you are not welcome here. Lexi says, you are ridiculous. You are harmful. That's the nice me. Don't make me go crazy. Venetia, what platform are you using for your research? Would really want to get more info. Okay, so you have to know some things. So AI is powerful, but ChatGPT is a yes man. They will agree to whatever you believe and try to feed into your own beliefs. And so I go to site.ai, SCITE.ai. I think there's other ones that are similar that might be free. This one, it has a free trial, but it does cost money. And it searches the research portals that it just gives you, it's boring. It's not going to tell you, like ChatGPT will say, wow, what a good question. You are the smartest person that I've ever talked to. Let me tell you exactly why you're right. And site.ai doesn't do that. It's a lot more technical of like, if you say, prove to me that vaccines cause autism with the research, it will say, I'm so sorry, but I'm not able to do that. Here's a breakdown of the research, and here are all of the sources. And it doesn't matter what you believe or what other people believe. It just summarizes what's in the research. So that's what I use. Okay, we got some comments coming in saying on YouTube, that person that said that is the reason not our kids, and clearly that done have a kid with ASD, so they don't even know. So sad. Her kid will grow up with a parent who teaches bad behavior. Yeah, absolutely. We have another comment coming in from YouTube. I came in from TikTok. I wanted to ask if you have any tips for a way I can get my kids to repeat words or ABCs. Yes, let's talk about that. Absolutely. How many of you are still waiting to hear your child's voice? Put waiting in the chat if you're waiting still to hear your child's voice. And not just like, of course they make sounds, but like his voice, his words. Who's still waiting? Put waiting in the chat if you're still waiting. One of the hardest parts of being an autism parent is not hearing your kid, not being told "I love you," not being able to have your child express what they want, express their needs. And you should know, Tasha, that although we don't have a lot of people in the YouTube right now, over on TikTok we have so many people saying waiting. You are not alone. And it's really hard. What I recommend is follow this path, okay? You first need to make sure you have a village, make sure your child has a diagnosis, and then build the care team. What therapies are you in right now? What therapies is your child in right now? Are you doing ABA therapy, speech therapy? I definitely recommend those two if your child is still working on communication. And I recommend that you, I'm going to give you one tip to walk away with, because I don't want to just say talk to a professional, because you can't go and do something today. I want to give everyone who's waiting one thing that you can do today, that you can start doing. If you're not in therapy, if you are in therapy, or if your child is getting speech and ABA, obviously like follow their lead and what they're instructing. But let me tell you one little tip that you can leave this live right now and implement with your child. What I'm going to recommend to you is that you start labeling every time. Okay, let me back up. I want you to look for when your child is motivated. Even if your child isn't speaking, you know when your child wants something. Maybe they're leading your hand to it. Maybe they're crying. Maybe whatever it is that they indicate they have a need that is not met. That tells you there is motivation. So what I want you to do is, when there's motivation and you're giving them this thing, let's say they're sad and they want milk. What I want you to do is, as you are giving them the milk, a lot of parents make this too complicated and say, "What do you want? What do you say?" Or they say, "You need to say milk." No, keep it very simple. All I want you to do, when your child wants something, you give them that thing and you label it. You say milk. And that's all you do. No other words, no other comments. You just say the name of the item and you hand it to them. And as you are labeling and tacting these items, when they have motivation, then you are going to see little by little, when they start repeating words, they're going to repeat what you say, and then they're going to get it. And then eventually they're going to come up to you and they're going to say milk. Okay? That's what I want you to do. That's one of the first steps, okay? We have some more comments here. My kids shouldn't come home scared every day. They focus their time on the autistic kids when they could be teaching the kids that will and can learn. I already have 20 other parents on my side. Oh, guys, we have some more hate comments on here on the YouTube. And look, I understand that it's coming from a place of wanting the best for your child. But your problem is you're seeing the kids with autism as the enemy, instead of seeing the system not supporting your child. Your school is failing your child if your child is coming home scared every day. Your child shouldn't come home scared every day, but it's not a child with disabilities' fault. If you feel free, I'm going to read some of these comments coming in addressing them, but if you have thoughts for this person as well, I will read anything that comes in through here. All right. This is open hate and not something we are about. Please excuse yourself, and we will fight against you every way. Our kids deserve all the love and support available. Mine started talking at the end of 4 years old. I worked so hard. He is 6 now and says 3 to 4 word sentences. Amazing. I love that progress. My kid should not have been abused by the system. So please, STFU. Tasha says speech and language therapy, but we live in Ireland and the resources are very slim with semi-private insurance. Okay, you do have speech and language though. bring up the recommendation that I gave, okay, and see what they think about that, or if they have additional recommendations. Okay, more people addressing this toxic comments. You are the problem. Those other 20 parents. To why don't you all learn about autism instead of promoting hate? I will always stand up for my child, and he is fine the way he is. That's exactly what I did. We have had such a hard time getting any help from the state, so it was only me, and I labeled everything over and over and over, and at the end of 4 years old, he started talking. Beautiful, Lexi. Beautiful. Okay. Guys, I thank you for your comments, for your support. Yeah. Skywalker over here says, I have autism and my IQ is 132. Yes. Amazing. Autism is not an intellectual disability. There are people with autism that have an intellectual disability as well. But there are many people with autism that are brilliant. About 40% of people with autism go to college. Another comment coming in from YouTube. Please seek help. My child is not something to be scared of. She didn't choose to have autism. She has it. Be kind. Thank you, Nunez, for sharing that. Lexi, how are you doing?
I am not doing okay right now.
Oh, no.
I really did not expect somebody to spread such hate about our children on any platform, any social media platform. My child was abused physically, and he has autism, and he didn't deserve that. And for you to sit there in these comments and say these things about these children is utterly disrespectful, and it is harmful, and it hurts us as parents. So that person who made those comments really needs to take a step back, look into what autism is, and really educate yourself, because this is not okay.
Yeah.
Spreading hate like that in this world that is already hard for them and hard for us as parents is not okay.
Yeah.
And I'm having a really hard time with that right now.
Yeah. Lexi, I'm with you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. It's frustrating to read, and I think I was shocked a month ago or so, because I made a video. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was a long time ago, and it was that person the teacher who reads comments and said something about like that we need to separate autistic kids from neurotypical kids, and I addressed it, and I was pretty like firm on it, and that video has started gaining more popularity as time has gone on, and the amount of comments of people supporting the idea of segregating people with disabilities has been such a shock to me. Like, I didn't know how many people genuinely felt so much hate towards people with disabilities. Amy, how are you doing?
I can agree. I have some unkind things to say, so I'll just keep them to myself. But people like that are the problem. And I don't think there's any way to change it. I think no matter what we do in this world, there's going to be hateful, unhelpful, ignorant, uneducated people, and there's nothing we can really do about it. I'm sorry, but regardless, it is something that makes you feel so misunderstood, and makes your child feel misunderstood. My kid didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
They don't deserve the hate to be who they are. It's just simply who they are.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, I don't really have kind comments to give or normal comments to give. It just makes me want to be the worst version of myself when people say stuff like that. And
I just think it does no good for us to take it out on each other. Like, direct this passion from the person spreading hate to improving the systems. Like, the kids with disabilities aren't the problem here. That's not the problem. I need to read some of these other comments that came in on YouTube, though, to kind of keep up with my promise today. Let's see. That was also recommended, but they didn't say just one word, which I just did that while you said it, and my son tried to say the word I said to him. Yes. Okay. So if you try to say a full sentence, your child tries to say the full sentence back. This is especially common with the Gestalt language processing. People who have Gestalt language processing, that they'll repeat the whole phrase instead of just the word that you want them to. Also, if you can come to social media and say these things, you're saying them around your children and creating hate in front of your children, which they will use on the special kids in their school. Oh, what a good point. I mean, what are they saying about their own children, or about children who are different around their own children? That's very good. One of my pet peeves is parents who teach their kids hate towards the special kids. Like, why are you so evil? Yeah, I agree, you guys. I agree. All right. Well, we're almost done with the live, but anything on your mind, Amy and Lexi, that you guys want to chat about for a minute? Anything going on?
So this moon situation. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
That's a
Let's
late
talk
night
about
conversation.
that.
That's
That'll
not a
make me
morning
feel better.
conversation. You guys will have to tune in later at night. They keep trying to have a debate with me about the moon landing, and I think
it's not a
I need to
debate.
be a little bit more tired to engage.
We're
with
trying
that
to get him on the right side because he doesn't understand.
He does not get it.
Oh,
No,
that's
we
funny.
we definitely try to bring some humor. You know, not everything about what we deal with all day long is easy or pleasant. You know, and a lot of us just need a second to just have, again, the space to relax and be with, you know, like-minded adults that deal with the same things all day long. And so that's what this space is. If you guys haven't had a chance to be here, welcome. You know, we're excited to have this space. Thank you, Kylan, for providing it and being here to answer some of these questions. You know, most of us are autism parents, but we're not, you know, people that are educated in autism. You know, I've done my fair share of research, but I have no degrees. So it's one of those things where, you know, just having this space is good for people. And so if you want to come and be a part of this space, we welcome you and thank you for being here. If not, please leave. You know, we don't need you to make comments. We don't need you to say goodbye. Just take yourself on. But yeah, you know, just keep it positive, keep it pleasant. If you want to join our Discord, join our Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Lexi. And guys, we'll see how I'm feeling tonight. If I get in the mood, I'll come on and we can do some more conversations tonight. We'll see how we're doing. But I'm gonna go. So they're asking when I go live at night. So if I go live during the day, which is pretty much every single day, it's usually at noon Eastern time for 2 hours. The late night ones, after my kids go to bed, sometimes I spend an hour and a half on here, or 2 hours if there's some really good conversations that I can't get away from. And that's after my kids go to bed. So usually at like 10:30 Eastern time. I'm in Utah. My kids, we do bedtime around 8. And so by 8:30, usually I'm at a place that I come on here. But in the meantime, autism is 24/7. These lives are not. And so join our Facebook group. Link is in my bio, and also join the Discord chat if you would like to continue talking to all of us. We're all on there, and it's a good group of people. So thank you all for being here. Hang in there, you guys. Go do something fun today. Go get out of the house. Go do more than just.
Yeah, my respite family member is on the way here, so I get to go to the mall today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My kids are asking for me to take them to Top Golf, so I might take them to Top Golf. We'll see.
Top Golf is so much fun.
It is fun. It's fun. We'll see if we go do that. I don't know.
We're going to go visit grandma today because grandma wants some grandma time. So I was like, okay, well, you have your grandma time. I'm going to go grocery shopping right next door to your house because, hey, might as well.
Yes. All
Yes,
right.
Papa.
Well, good, guys. All right. I'm going to end this. Thank you all for being here. And make sure you're following so you can see when I go live next. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.